What are you doing?
Like, oh my god.
I don't even know what's going on.
Player one. Prepare yourself.
Happy holidays. I've got a gift for you. Buy 4 tarot readings or coaching session gift codes in any combination, and you'll receive 2 additional gift codes too. So use all 6 codes for yourself or share them with friends and family as holiday gifts, stocking stuffers, or maybe even birthday presents. These don't expire, so you can feel free to use them and share them throughout the year. Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for being my friends. Hi there, Cancer. This is your weekly reading for the week of December 21st. I wish you a wonderful holiday season and a very Merry Christmas to you and all of yours. On Monday, the card that we've drawn for you is Queen of Wands in reverse. The Queen of Wands is a person who might very well be a fire sign. So like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or one of those rising signs, and or this is just a person who comes across somehow fiery, if not red, somebody who drives a red sports car, or somebody who's just very fiery, or she likes to dress in red, and it's very likely female, could be a very feminine male, obviously. This person, the problem with her is that in the reverse, she can tend to be somewhat emotionally manipulative, if not kind of out of control or scatterbrained. You know, sometimes we look at people like this and we'll say, boy, ADD or what? Too much caffeine? You know, so I'm not really sure what her issue is, but I can say that I think for most of you, this is not going to represent a female authority figure. This is probably going to be somebody else who's like a friend of yours or equal to you. So I'm going to say that she could be about your age, or even if she's a little older, she's really immature. I have seen this card in a similar kind of spread show up as someone's stepmother who was like really immature, you know, like one of those that doesn't understand that she is not your friend. She is supposed to be a stepmom. So this could be, of course, anybody's mother that we would say, wow, this is one of these people that has it wrong. We're never our children's friends. We're always our children's mothers. Your parents are always your parents. And sometimes people misunderstand what that means. It's not that I've been your age and one day you'll be mine. And so I'm a mother and I've got 3 sons, and they're always going to be my babies. They're always going to be my sons. They're never going to be my bros. You know, I'm not going to walk up to one and say, dude, you know, I joke with them, but no, we are not at all reversed or inaccurate in our relation to each other. So this could be somebody who maybe you could say, yeah, Rita, I know who that is. That's my dad's girlfriend, and she is freaking stupid. And we're like, oh, okay. In a way that we know she's just manipulating things, but she's really not as immature or naive as she comes across. So you don't need to be her friend either. Now, if this is one of your close friends. You already know which one this is, and it could be that she's acting kind of out a little more than usual, and it could be an association like your boyfriend's brother's girlfriend, or your boyfriend's sister, or like your girlfriend's brother's sister or girl, something like that. So this person is probably somewhere on par, like with being less mature. And if anything, it might be, like I said, that she's just immature, but she could be manipulative for her own ends, where she doesn't really care what the means are. In fact, she probably can't even spell it. So on Tuesday, we've got the Ace of Wands upright, coming off of the Mercury and Capricorn sextiling. Oops, misplaced one of my cards. Where we've got Mercury and Capricorn sextiling Chiron and Pisces for you. It's going to be kind of weird, because it could be, like I said, that friendship or that relationship with somebody who could be your close friend, if not somebody on par with you. But there is, like I said, the element of somebody being somewhat immature, and like stepmothers and stepfathers, they need to remember that we expect them to be adults, if not at least role models. And of course, that doesn't involve like borrowing our clothes or acting like they're 18 years old. Also, this sextile for Chiron and Pisces could have you feeling like when you go back and forth to visit your mom and your dad separately, if they're divorced or never been married or whatever, that we see that there's somewhat like an incompatibility in their relationship, or that we're not relating. We feel like we're not coming across, or we're not heard accurately. And I think that this would be best kind of relegated for later. If there needs to be a discussion about something, I think with you guys, it might be easier to write off, as if somebody says something weird to you, to ask them what they mean to say. But I almost would say, if at all possible, just kind of shelve it, table it, pretend you didn't hear it, because we've got also this full moon that will be in your sign, Cancer, at 3 degrees. And so there's a potential for people, more likely younger people. We could see this with adults that are like way immature. They're the ones acting like, duh, like they're stoners or something, or like, Jesus, where did this person's brain not get soldered right in utero? So, yeah, there could be a chance that there's some adults that are very immature, doing stupid, immature things. I've heard of Cancer people telling me about parents during full moon and Cancer times that go get tattoos, and we're like, what the hell? Like we kind of don't understand where they fell off the parent boat. And I'm not hating on parents who do tattoos. I don't do tattoos. I don't have them. I don't like them. I don't want them. But I don't go pointing them out to people. You see, heathen. No, I just understand that there are people that different dynamics. And I've seen kids come out like freaking prodigies with school rides to, one of them, a full ride to UCLA. And you'd think that this person came from some European family that descended from old Harvard or old Yale money. And then I remember meeting this guy's, well, the mother was the one that was kind of normal. And at first, then when I got to know her, I knew that I was like, what is this? And then I had detected this weird tattoo, of all things, the tramp stamp, right? And I was like, whoa, appearances could be deceiving, but sometimes people's own children, they're kind of born from parents that we wouldn't have expected. Or you meet the parents, it's like, what happened? These people are so straight-laced, and this one fell far from the tree, rolled over into another grove. So, there could be some weird issues like that where I would say let it go. I would say have nothing to do with it. You have your own opinions. I do. Everybody does. They're all valid to people, even if we don't like them, believe them, we think they're stupid, whatever it is. It's just better to not say anything, because, it could provoke anything from a fist fight to some redneck brawl. It could get so stupid that it's not worth it. So use it more as an impetus for you to recognize how intelligent and amazing and controlled you are, while still maintaining your emotional sensitivity to other people, that even though you think they're just fail, that you would never really tell them that, because it just isn't about hurting other people's feelings. Mars in Libra will semi-sextile Jupiter in Virgo. Again, this could be closer to home, so it could be people that you're related to or you don't see that often. Step sibling, half sibling, brothers, mothers, friends, sisters, daughters, cousins, little bro. And yet we see that there's something here that can be avoided totally. So, if you walk away meeting somebody or meeting, let's just say your dad's girlfriend, your dad's like this PhD and he's got a girlfriend now and she's got a tattoo on her boob or something you're sure you saw. I wouldn't say, Dad, what's up with that? I wouldn't even say anything. I would just be like, so if he says, what do you think of her? I'd be like, so she seems to be exactly what you need at this moment in time. That'll leave his wheels spinning anyway, and he'll think about it. And maybe later you could say, I'm not sure what you're representing here. Are you planning to pay to have that removed? Or, you could have more mature dialogue later, and I mean later. Like I would wait into somewhere around February. See if he's still with her in February, because I doubt they will be. If it's like a recent new dating relationship, there will be enough like redneck distractions to ensure that it's either going to get more dysfunctional or, somebody pays to have a tattoo removed. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you examples why it's not a good idea to just say it. I would wait. I wouldn't even come back and be posting like, yeah, Dad totally surprised me, because this person that he's dating is like so scary to me. She smokes, she drinks, she's got a tattoo of a demon on her boob, because then people are going to see it and then it'll be all up on your face. So vent to one of your friends who will keep it personal and private. Don't, and of course it could be somebody's mother's boyfriend that, look, I'm going to raise my hand. One of them was an attorney and I would have never known he had tattoos. I would have never known. And then they were so interesting and so well hidden that I love him to this day, because we just were always able to remain a certain way. And I adore him for that. Where my kids would never have seen this anyway, because you'd have to be naked essentially or without a shirt, which to me is naked. And then there was another two that I look back and was like, see, I should have known from the first time I saw this stupid shit. I should have been aware. So remember that people come into an awareness at different times. I'm throwing myself into this kettle because I want you to see that even though I'm super conservative and I don't like it, I was making excuses for things that I shouldn't have because I don't raise my kids this way. I've got a 22-year-old, a 17-year-old who's going to be 18 soon, and a 15-year-old. I think that they would rather die a very painful death than to do something that goes against what I've programmed them with. And yet, when I was having to explain this, when they were like, Mom, he's got this, he's got that, I should have said, oh my God, right. And I should have either had something in place because I would have seen him already or, made different decisions. So sometimes we parents do screw up. So wait and give it a little more time. Like, take my advice, wait until like mid-February, see if these people can even make it to that point. Then let the conversation come up organically and maybe do what kids are good at, facial expressions. That way you don't have to actually say words and commit to them. What do you think of her? What do you think of him? Duck face. And let them ask you about that. So on Wednesday we have the Tower, and this is not a big deal. I think this is where you're going to see it happening more like with the adults. Weird news, argument around somebody else, or hopefully, people are cultured enough to know how to avoid difficult conversations. I think I was using with Cancer an example of when I was involved in hearing about somebody else. Their conversation was just a few feet away from me. I can't really describe exactly the environment, or everybody will know, who this person was, but she was talking about her daughter that was probably knocked up, as she put it. And even though I wasn't surprised when I put it all in perspective, I was thinking, wow, this person gave off a totally different vibe. And yet she'd even said certain things to my kids. And I was later like, oh my God. So sometimes we have to just pretend like we didn't hear those things. I even told my son to never say that and don't talk about it. I said she probably would have done better to not talk about this, but maybe she was venting because she was frustrated or thinking people are going to find out soon enough. Or, I could tell that there was some pain there. And if she really wanted my opinion or my advice, she would have asked me. So kind of the rule of thumb, at least with volatile times, or when people could be like getting stupid, or, oh God, when alcohol is involved, then it probably is better to keep your tongue in your mouth and just don't say anything. And it looks like somebody is able to kind of save it at that point. And it looks like it could have been a really hideous thing, and maybe a disaster is averted. Like maybe it's a situation where somebody's talking about, oh, because yes, her daughter's pregnant, and you're about to go, and turn blue because you can't breathe. Maybe your relative will turn you around and scoot you out the back door and throw you in the snow so that you don't say a damn thing. You know what I mean? It could be a lucky save like that. Or you may have to be the one that, like, your friend is about to go, what the? I didn't know your family had, and then you're like, shh, 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 shh. And then maybe you have to stuff a muffin in their mouth or something to stop them from talking. So keep that in mind. On Thursday, we've got the Nine of Cups, which is great because it is a happier card for you in relative to your experience, or relative to your experience, than it is for the adults. For you guys, it will just be joy, happiness and simple pleasures, and getting, maybe you really wanted a particular thing. Maybe you were just hoping for a particular long board. Maybe there was a purse you really wanted, or maybe some makeup that you were finally hoping, because you're like, come on, I'm 16, let me wear some lip gloss. And so maybe you get something really nice like a tray, or maybe, oh my god, could you imagine how much fun it would be to get like Birchbox? I think Ipsy is better, by the way. They're not my pimps and I'm not pimping them. I'm just telling you. So it could be much nicer for you in that way. Venus is in Scorpio, your solar 5th house of romance. I can roll my R's better than that. I'm Cuban. Let me do it again. Romance. Anyway, so Venus in Scorpio, sextiling Jupiter and Virgo could be like you all of a sudden find out this person you thought hated your guts because he pushed you in tetherball, hit you in the head with the basketball. And you're like, yeah, because he sucks. And then you find out that he gives you a really sweet gift, maybe a favorite book you've been looking at, or he gets you an Amazon gift card. I don't pimp for them either. I'll tell you when I do. But something really sweet happens. I think for you guys, it will be far more romantic than it will be for the adults. I think with them, they got to watch it because, like, some adults will be finding out that their mate, if it's a dating relationship, is cheating on them. I know that's really sad, so just be glad that you are in a better position in that way. Uranus will also station in Aries. So I guess, you could even get, if you're allowed to have a kiss, you may get a kiss. If you're not allowed to have a kiss, you may get a friendship hug. How about that? Don't piss off the adults because they can make your life. Oh, I was held prisoner in my bedroom. And it was so funny. And I've told these stories because I think they're wild. In a way, people know I was working in an industry that would have been somewhat exploitive. And I had people around me handling me, and no, I didn't have to deal with Bill Cosby. And because that would have been bad for him. How about that? That would have been bad for him. And at the same time, I wasn't allowed certain freedoms. There was a whole lot I couldn't do. And at the same time, I was allowed some crazy freedoms, like, since I had other people doing things to my hair anyway, maybe it was easier for my mom to let me bleach my hair. There was a point in time in 10th grade when my little boyfriend wanted my hair back to its natural dark brown, or he wouldn't take me to his prom. And it was this platinum blonde my mother let me have. People were making bets on what color my hair would be the next day because it was really hard for my mom to try to correct this. So I dyed my hair black thinking that that would turn out brown because I was like a child. I think I was 15. And then she came home, threw a purse at me, and then proceeded to drag me to the store for those of you in the hood, Clark Drugs, and bleached my hair one night. I think the next night, it was either 2 nights on one night and the next night again. Then she kept trying to dye my hair, and then I could, if there'll be places where you could bump into the photos of my hair. You couldn't even tell that it had ever happened. It was so crazy. And I got to go to the prom, and then I realized he doesn't let me express my creative side. I couldn't do anything else. I had one piercing and never would have dreamed, but that was the 80s, you guys. Let me tell you, we thought we were crazy and we were so conservative. If you had painted one fingernail a different color, everybody would have been like, gasp, faint. It would have been so weird. So anyway, here we've got on Friday, we got the full moon in Cancer in your sign, which is even better, way more fun, very sweet for you. Even if you're feeling a little emotional or melancholy, don't for too long because it's going to be just fine. You might be picking up on the adults' energy. There could be energy from adults around you. Maybe they're getting like dumb, or somebody had too many glasses of bubbly and now they're like blah 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 and just talking about that time you had a most excellent diaper rash and you're like, oh my God, no. Here she goes. She's going to talk about the placenta next, right? Mercury in Capricorn will semi-square Neptune in Pisces, which is going to be good for you because you're going to learn a lot about other people's communication styles. I'm so serious. You're going to watch adults modeling for you things that you want to totally avoid in your life, like something like the Black Plague or let's think of another dread disease, consumption. And you're going to say, I'm never, no way, sorry, I won't even think about getting married until I'm 35 because I'll at least have 2 degrees. Sorry, we're not talking about children until everything is in order, which usually takes people to be about 35 years old. So think about it. And guys, you can start having thoughts about children in your 40s. Thoughts like, I think I want to do this. And no, I really don't want a puppy this time. I want a child to teach to play baseball. You know, you'll know because you'll be like, no, my God, Rita, I'll be so freaking old. What are you talking about, dude? I'm like 47 and nobody guesses my age right. So just remember, you will be just fine. And Cancer people are, even rising signs, are always so dreamy and ethereal. You come across like a fairy anyway. So nobody's keeping score on how many rings you, like me, you might want to like cut me in half and count how many rings because I've earned them. But you guys are going to be just fine. Also, we have Mercury in Capricorn trining Jupiter in Virgo. Mercury Capricorn, 7th house of these kind of relationships and partnerships that could very well be about your family, and Neptune in Jupiter in Virgo, your 3rd house family, where again you could be coming up with ideas like you say, look, I didn't mean to say that Jello was disgusting because it was green and fruit and shit was, suspended. And no, I kind of wasn't putting down your bratwurst. I just prefer to go to Der Wiener Schnitzel. Whatever it is, you could probably make amends here too if you've been like, hopefully somebody will come and save you by saying, he or she is 16 years old. Of course, they are prone to saying what they really mean. And then, of course, that gives you like credit and at the same time saves your ass. Saturday, we've got the Queen of Cups in reverse. And this is where we get a woman who could be a water sign like you. So she could be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. She could be a rising sign, or she could just be crazy. So this is a person who might just be emotionally overbearing, and maybe she is emotionally manipulative. I would be less concerned with her than I would with the Queen of Wands. And if you're watching your parents or people are dating, I think you're going to be able to pick her out because the Queen of Cups, well, I don't know. For you guys, I guess I'm really thinking that she's not the one to worry about. The Queen of Wands, the one who tries, maybe she wears inappropriate things or, like I said, boob tattoo, some weird things going. I think you're going to be able to tell that that's the one who's associated with the fire sign. If these are people older than you and if they're in that loop of the family dysfunction. And so you might have the observations now going, and I thought my emotionally controlling mother was controlling, and I see this chick over here. I'd like to hit her. Have you ever pushed the bags of sand to get the drapes? Have you ever been in theater and that's what I want to push it at her. Like, oh, sorry, exit stage left suddenly. Anyway, this person is going to be easier to deal with than you think. Just once you have it in hindsight, you'll be able to go, wow, my mom really rocks because this person is completely insane. I really don't think it's going to be vice versa. Don't split hairs, but just keep the idea of the theme and the dream alive. Sunday, we've got the King of Cups. And so this is probably another parental unit. Might be a water sign. Or this is just a very naturally dad-like person who's like, there now, my girl. You're going to do just fine. I know that you've never played full contact football. I'm kidding. That's really not my thing. But, this is where you get a dad who's probably as emotionally controlling as maybe his counterpart. But at the same time, it's because he's dad and he's protective like most dads are. And if this isn't your dad, it's a father figure guy who stepped in and, he's mature and he's intelligent and he's probably educated and somebody who comes across with a relative amount of substance, to where we know he's sensitive and emotional, but at the same time he's grounded. And I think that with Mercury trining the North Node, so of course Mercury Capricorn North Node in Virgo, that this is a person who could also, for you guys, explain why people get drunk and stupid. I don't know. I only hear about these things at festivals where people are penned in and wearing bracelets, and they're kind of confined like zoo animals, and you really don't see that a lot in families. But we do have to be sensitive that there are some people that I think that they're destined for greatness. Like if a kid comes out of like an alcoholic or some messed up family, they tend to be super, super strong and able to say, nothing doing, I'm not having this. This is not going to be my life. I love you guys, but no. Or where you make this observation like, wow, the adult world is really what I don't want to be involved in, because I just noticed that everybody's crazy, and not in a fun way like me. They're nuts. Your version of crazy may be mismatching all your fingernail polish or shaving half of your head and declaring war on cancer. But they kind of take it and end up in some kind of intoxicated state. So it's not going to be that way for everybody. There's going to be a bunch of people who are from very controlled and structured families. I could imagine what like an LDS kid right now is thinking, listening to this. And I'm sorry about the cuss words. It's just the flavor that I use to relate. I love Jesus, but this is more like where they could be looking at this going, and then they realize that they've got a neighbor who's going through this, and that kid needs some extra love and support. And maybe you guys are the ones that, came by like to my house and played a cookies, throw them at my 17-year-old. I'm like, wow, that was cool or very frightening. And so the cookies were eaten and no one died. And it was probably one of those things where somebody maybe thought, hey, these people need a little love. And maybe you could imagine that some LDS kids are like, wow, my neighbor needs a lot of love. I didn't know that the little girl who lives across the street that, I don't see her much, and it's because her home life is hard. Maybe you take one of your own gifts and say, I'm going to see if I can say hi, and give her one of my stocking stuffers and say, I was thinking of you. And they're like, I don't even know you. Emo, emo, emo. And you're like, yeah, but that's okay. I know you on a soul level. So Cancer, enjoy your wonderful Christmas week, your interactions with people. And remember that if anything gets weird or stupid, people are going to get hurt or in danger of drunken driving, take the keys away and pretend you never saw them. Throw them under somebody's bed. If you think that somebody's going to get hurt, call the police. There are a lot of services to arrange people to go home with dial-a-rides. I've even heard of cops giving people rides because they're like, I know that's stupid, but we don't want you dead because I'll be the one scraping you up off the street with the rest of the cleaning crew after forensics comes in. But just remember that if you're ever getting into a vehicle and you even suspect that anybody is at all inebriated, on medication that is clouding their judgment, or worse, if they are doing stupid drugs, then don't go. That's when we get kids who are found wrapped around trees, and then the stoner is alive or the drunk is alive and everyone else died. So if you get in a vehicle, make sure that nobody's intoxicated. If you are afraid, stand your ground and get back into the house where you came from. If you're that frightened, call somebody on a cell phone. If somebody shouldn't be driving, I would not be mad at you to hear later that you kiped their keys and threw them behind a toilet. I would do it too. It's kind of like the old saying that people have gotten used to now. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. Well, how about this? Friends don't let friends be stupid. And when an adult's involved, you may have to resort to some creative ways to keep these people from hurting themselves. God bless you, and I'll be talking to you soon.